Guys, I've waited 3 years for this moment. Ever since I read this in the manga, the most anticipated event in the anime is finally here. The Divine General Maharaga is here. I am speechless. This week Mappa was trending and you all know why. With this type of schedule these animators have, I don't even think Maharaga can adapt to this. What the animators did during this episode was just incomprehensible. You would think that Sukuna versus Jogo in last week's episode was god tier, but to have two back-to-back episodes of the year were really eating good for real. The episode started off with a flashback to Yuji and his granddad, with his granddad asking him to go and help others, and then it cuts to Sukuna. And bro, I had to make a prayer for Yuji really quick, and I had to ask the Lord to lend our boy strength because Gege is about to torture this man. We then cut back to an injured Megumi slowly moving away from Haruta, and we learned something about the 10 shadows technique, and that is, in order to use the Shikigami they need to be tamed. And throughout the history of the 10 shadows, the only one that hasn't been tamed was the Maharaga. The ritual he's about to use involves trapping another individual in the exorcism. However, if the Shikigami is defeated, Megumi wouldn't be able to use it. And guys, Megumi has got to be the most privileged character in this entire series, bro. Not only did he inherit one of the best techniques in this series, but he was adopted and trained by the strongest sorcerer of today. Toji knew what he was doing when he left them. Turns out, over hundreds of years ago, the two clan heads of the Gojo and Zenin clan battled it out, with the Zenin clan leader having the 10 shadows and the Gojo leader having the limitless and the 6 eyes, but they both ended up dying. Bruh, if Megumi had Maharaga tamed, this guy would be the second strongest in the series without a doubt. But you know what's so funny about this whole thing is that Megumi was really messing with Haruta there. He didn't really need to summon Doomsday on him, you know what I'm saying? He could have just summoned the Divine Dog or something to take out Haruta. Did he really think that Macaulay Culkin was gonna stand a chance? Megumi summons Maharaga and I couldn't contain my excitement, fam. The entire summoning was so peak and Maharaga looked glorious. Maharaga came here to finish what Toji started, and this thing wants all of the smoke, but Sukuna arrives to heal Megumi and to fight the Maharaga. Sukuna manages to survive an attack from Maharaga, which he was only able to do because he was in Yuji's body. And bro, the fact that Maharaga, a Shikigami, was able to hit Sukuna and Jogo wasn't even able to touch him once is just embarrassing. All of you Jogo stans, I feel sorry for you. This episode really managed to convey how absolutely relentless Maharaga is. The animators did a phenomenal job at showing the power, the size, and the strength of this beast. Like, the sheer amount of destruction and calamity caused in this episode was gorgeous. The animators did a fantastic job with what they were able to do. You know the animators be cooking as soon as you start seeing those cubes, and honestly at this point I couldn't believe my eyes with what I was seeing. I really don't want to celebrate at the expense of the animators, but I just couldn't help myself this time. I'm sorry. We got like a whole 8 minutes of anime original content in this fight, and maybe it's just me, but not only did this fight give off heavy Mob Psycho vibes, of course, but this fight really reminded me of Gilgamesh versus Hercules, with the way Sukuna was constantly slashing Maharaga, with it just rapidly adapting to everything. This episode is the definition of the Shibuya arc. It was just pure chaos. There were a lot of cool things that they added to this fight, like the way Maharaga turned into a giant to trap Sukuna in the train, him just adapting to water. That shit was so funny, fam. The scenery of Sukuna bowing down at that destruction was so badass. Sukuna just has that aura and flashiness about him, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro's really the GOAT. Maharaga was almost unstoppable in this episode, and its adaptation is hella broken. Every time the wheel turns, it adapts to its attack, and that attack is rendered useless. Its adaptation even goes as far as even allowing it to switch up its attacking ability to break through its opponent's defenses. The JJK animators are so savage that they based Mappa as one of the buildings that gets destroyed. That was just mad. The moment Sukuna used his domain, that shit was so insane. Oh my god. His domain is basically just a huge ass shredder and it looked so awesome. Like he literally put Shibuya in a blender. His barrierless domain is the pinnacle of jujutsu sorcery and not even Gojo has a barrierless domain. His intelligence and understanding of jujutsu sorcery is second to none. And guys, I have to be honest here, if you're a Gojo fan, I'm gonna need you to switch sides, because what the JJK team has been able to do with Sukuna for these 2 episodes, they're really making this man look like the strongest right now. This episode almost convinced me by making it look like 15 Finger Sukuna is strong enough to beat Gojo, and I'm a manga reader, that's just crazy.
Don't start with me. You know I'll come over there and slap you, and I see you brought your mum here again.
You can fight Deontay and go to the grave, or fight me and go to the hospital. Either way, you can get your ass whooped. So pick your poison.
Sukuna then uses his fire arrow to take out Mahoraga while it adapts to Malevolent Shrine, and he finally kills it and Haruta. He drops Megumi off safely to Yaga and Shoko, and he proceeds to give Yuji PTSD, and this has got to be the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen happen to a protagonist. I can't believe this man Yuji woke up to all of that. As for the opening playing while Yuji was having his breakdown, that was so out of place, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that moment should have had silence. I think that would have been perfect so that we could feel Yuji's anguish better during that scene, but it is what it is, isn't it? It doesn't take away from the episode. But it only gets worse from here, so much worse. The end of the episode gave me absolute chills, seeing Nanami just walking like that, looking like Harvey Dent. And I'm not gonna say anything else, guys, we just have to wait until next week, you know what I'm saying? This episode left me speechless just like last week, and these past 2 episodes were pretty much movies. I slightly preferred this episode to the last one, but I will admit at first when I watched it I had no idea what was going on, but I was able to catch everything on multiple rewatches. These last 2 episodes were events, fam. Sukuna is really him. He is the best villain of 2023. No one comes close. Whenever Gojo gets released from the prison realm, you already know that's going to be a battle of the baddest, except it won't be rigged this time. The way things are looking right now with the production, I have no idea where the anime is headed next, but seriously, prayers up for the JJK team. And as always, thank you to all of the animators for your hard work and dedication, and thank you to you guys who tuned into the video. If you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe, and until next week, stay blessed.